Okay. It's the 7th of October. And the plan for the ES for today's RTH session will be right after I do the review of what the plan was for yesterday. Right, so yesterday my scenario 1 was open test down to the 92 to 94 area, which happened to be the full session mid, so right around there, or there, that's the full session mid, and then continuation higher to the MCV pocket 404, right here, and then above that to 414 and previous day's high at 420, which is pretty much, that was my scenario 1 yesterday, which worked until we had a news event which dropped prices lower. It was a two-way trade until late in the day when we had this, we had a neutral day. I had one trade in the morning when price moved above the daily mid for my scenario 1, which it worked. Okay. So today my scenario 1 is we open on top of the overnight VPOC, very close to the overnight high. And my scenario 1 is for a test down to the stock zone at 76, which is not much of a test down really. If it opens right on top of the overnight VPOC, it will be chopping around, so this high volume node is a good area for a test on the downside before we find our buyers. So that is around 72. Which is actually where the overnight VPOC used to be until a few minutes ago. Right, so we test down to 72 and we extend higher to the previous day's VPOC, and we have the scene of the crime at 34.20 up above, and on the way to there we are likely to retest the 404 MC VPOC, this one, and then 420. So that's my scenario 1. Key trade idea. In the overnight we had a day session, we had a drop, pullback, continuation, and we're now into the corrective move. We had a 50% pullback rejected for a short sell-off. Not much of a sell-off really, around 13 points, and now we're continuing higher. We're above the 50% point. So my expectation is for scenario 1 to go to the scene of the crime. Scenario 2 is we open around 80, 81. We go up to the stock zone at around 90, 88 to 90, which coincides with yesterday's IB low, so this one. Find our sellers. Go back to the overnight volume point of control, then the high volume node at 72. Jump around. Visit the MCV of VPOC at 60, which is where we yesterday built a lot of volume. We like 60 and we like 40. Composite high volume node and micro composite high volume node. So that's my scenario 2 for test down to 60 and then followed by test down to 40, which will give us a range of around 50 points. Yesterday the range was around, let's say, 78 points, so 50 is a bit much, but the low of yesterday is at 44, so I expect to test. I expect to take it out, to take the yesterday's low, and then get down to the 40 MCV VPOC. That's my scenario 2. Scenario 3. We had a massive trend up in the overnight. How many points? The volume is like 300,000 contracts. The range is 30 to 80, so it's like 50 points range. We had a short pullback. Continuing. We could form a V bottom and continue straight up. So brief, tag lower, impulsive move up to the VPOC, and then to the scene of the crime. That's my scenario 3. Scenario 4 is the same, but on the opposite direction, in the opposite direction. So we've had our impulse, push, pullback, continuation. So kind of a driver in the market. Higher time frame, pushing prices lower from the open, taking out the overnight low, which is at 33.30 and a half. I don't expect to take out the overnight low in my scenario 2. Scenario 4, that's where we could go. And that is